Welcome back to Kidsplaining. I'm Allison. This is Daniel.
And today we're asking the question, can kids play on the rocks?
So in On the Rocks, you are bartenders trying to complete your drink orders the fastest. And you do this with marbles and dice and cards and don't spill the drinks. And Daniel's going to walk you through kind of a brief how we play this game.
Yes. So everyone has their own little menu book, order book, which is, and the art in this game is fantastic. Love the art.
The components are really top notch.
Production quality is amazing. But basically how you play, everyone has their own order book with these 4 spaces for the different kinds of drinks. You randomly draw cards with your orders on them from these decks. And then at the beginning of your turn, you're going to roll the dice. You're going to draw marbles randomly out of this bag based on what you roll, and then drop them in one at a time, going around the circle of the bowls, basically like Mancala.
Yeah.
If you want to be strategic, you can pay attention to what you're putting in the bowls, or you can not think about it like we do until...
Yeah, I don't think about it. I just kind of just put them in there.
Until we realize that we should have thought about it. But you put the marbles in the bowl, and then you pick a bowl to take. You take them, and then, so I could take this one and say, okay, I need a green marble here. I need a red marble here. I need a yellow marble here. The clear ones are wild, so I could put that there. And that's your turn. You're trying to complete these orders the fastest. When you get all of these done, you put a little lemon wedge on here.
You've completed order one.
You draw another order. You can go on before everyone else finishes their orders. You can go on to your second. And when someone completes 3 orders, that triggers the end of the game.
Last call.
Yep. When you complete orders, you get tip cards. If bad things happen, you get spill cards, which make you have to like remove marbles, things like that.
Right. So that's the gist of the game. After a few rounds, we picked it up real quick, and it plays really well. It's very fluid.
We've found it to be very replayable. And again, depending on how long you take in between games, had to refresh on rules a little bit, but it's a simple concept, but we've had a lot of fun playing. So let's get into the actual question. Can kids play on the rocks? Because that's why you're here. So the
now,
first...
it does seem like it would be a little questionable because we are bartenders. We're in a bar. We're placing alcoholic drink orders. We're filling those. I mean, this isn't a 21 and up game.
No, and it is. And that's the first, though. The theme and artwork is the first thing we touch on in these. It does talk about alcohol. The artwork, there is nothing questionable in the artwork.
No.
You can't get around the alcohol part of it. You are a bartender making alcoholic beverages.
Right. So if you don't want to even include that as a family game or a game then this wouldn't be the game for you. If that doesn't bother you, that's something that you can easily get over. These could be punch. I mean, it doesn't have to be alcoholic.
There are no drinks that take place on a beach.
There we go.
So,
but there are a few cards that we pulled out that might be a little like, I don't know. That might sound weird if my 7-year-old came and just set it out of context.
Yeah, I think the biggest focus that we want on the theme and artwork is what's going to make your kids ask, what's that?
Yeah.
So there are a few drinks. A lot of the drinks picking a random one here, an old-fashioned Arctic Mule. Most of them don't even include the name of an alcohol in them, but we do.
I mean, there is the gin and tonic.
Yeah, I mean, you have an old-fashioned margarita on the rocks. You have a fuzzy navel. You have a martini straight up. You have a highball gin and tonic. I think there's a rum and coke. So there are a few of those that actually name the type of alcohol. And
you do have the image of those drinks on the cards.
Yes, but again, there's no actual consumption. At no point do you...
It doesn't say, now take a shot, or it doesn't say anything like that. No. It doesn't encourage any drinking during the game.
On that note,
okay,
it doesn't encourage drinking, but it does in the tip cards, which you get these when you complete orders, and they do good things for you. There are a few that we pulled out, again, that just have, make your kids ask what that is.
Yeah.
A short pour, you may ask what a short pour is.
What's a short pour?
Now, this is the shots card, and on your turn, collect 2 ingredients only from your bowl.
You pass that.
Yeah,
that's
so
one
you
that
would,
you will pass to someone. You would forfeit the tip points, but you would pass that to then stumble one of the other players.
Yes. This is the only one. Feeling tipsy, this is the only one we saw that actually deals with...
What's tipsy? What is, and so...
That actually deals with consumption of alcohol.
Right.
Other than, again, shots is it does kind of deal with it, but the feeling tipsy, this is the only one that actually deals with imbibement. We're going to use fancy words.
Fancy words. So, it's a $5 word.
The spill cards don't have any of that. They're all remove 2 green ingredients, remove all yellow ingredients. It's all of the spill cards deal with removing marbles from the drink. So as far as the theme, that's the theme. That's how the alcohol plays into the theme. You have now seen everything. Again, we didn't show every single card.
Right.
But there's no cards that go beyond farther into the alcohol theme than
just naming what alcohol it is, or the name of the drink.
There's no cards in there. They're like, go do a keg stand or go take a bunch of shots or go.
Right.
There's none of that in it. It is purely making drinks and filling drink orders.
Right.
Yep.
So when it comes to the next step is like language dependence. There is some reading on some of the cards. It's not heavy in needing to be able to read because, again, it's so focused on the colors, matching the colors to the drinks.
The primary gameplay has no reading in it. You don't have to read the names of the things.
No.
Obviously, the rules and the reference card have to have reading in them. The tip cards and the spill cards have reading on them. That is the only reading in the game. And again, the core mechanic of actually filling your drink orders has no reading or language dependence to it.
Now, there are points that you add up towards the end of the game because it's whoever has the highest points, not necessarily who triggers the end of the game, but at the end of the game, who has the highest points is who wins. So there is adding. You
could call it math and trying to figure out, because you do get marbles out of the bag.
According to your dice roll.
With the dice and trying to calculate, okay, I'm going to use this bowl, so I need to drop a red one in there and then do that around. I have 9, so I need to put these here and do that. There is some calculation that could go into the strategy that does technically include math, but it's not a math-heavy game. It's really just adding up your points, calculating that at the end of the game.
Complexity, it's not that it's not a heavy game. It's definitely a lighter game.
The most complex part that I have found is actually trying to strategically put the marbles in the bowl. So I guess to play strategically, it does have, even that's not, but just thinking, okay, I need to put this one here so that I have the marbles that I need. Now with the marbles, there are black marbles and gold marbles. The gold marbles let you pick items directly pick marbles out of the bag that you want. The black marbles give you a spill card. So that is another part of the strategy in placing those marbles where you're not going to get them and possibly where someone else is.
You can mess someone else up because if there is there's 2 spills in this bowl right here. So that's 2 spill cards that you would have to draw.
Right.
So you can, if you're like, okay, I know that they need reds and blues, so I'm going to try to put most of the reds and blues in that one so that they may get the ingredients they want, but they still got to have spill cards. And their spill cards might have them dump a whole drink out. Who knows?
So that's probably, as far as the filling the drink orders and figuring out, just looking at the cards you have and looking at the available marbles, not too complex there. I think the major complexity comes in that strategic decision of where you place certain marbles and then deciding, because you can take either 3 or 4 cards when you refill your orders. So if you're behind and someone else is getting close to ending the game, then having to decide if you want to take 3 or 4 and working through if you're going to be able to complete those orders, because you do lose points for unfinished drinks.
That's true. That is true. There's also that just deciding if part of your strategy is going to be using your tips. You have tip cards when you complete a drink, but you can also use those tip cards to either play for your advantage or kind of stumble your next player. So that's there's that strategy there, and it also steps into confrontation.
Yes. The core part of the game has no take that element to it, but you do have, again, what we mentioned earlier, the ability to strategically place spill marbles and to play tip cards against other players and force them to draw a spill card or do something else to hurt them. There is the opportunity for some take that in the game.
This drink requires 3 green marbles. So if they have those there and you have them take a spill card, well, this spill card says you need to remove 2 green marbles.
Yeah.
So that could completely just derail that drink for that round.
Now, an important part in that and how that works in is once you finish a drink. So if this drink is finished and I have done all of my spill cards, if I have resolved everything and I am finished with my turn and a drink is still completed, that drink is safe from being, you can't make me spill a finished drink on your turn.
Flip that over and completely remove the marbles. They go back into the supply and that drink is done.
So again, even that, there is some you have a lot of power to stop other people from messing with you. So I think the confrontation and the take that element is there, but it's not very heavy in the game. And then downtime, it really depends on how much the people you are playing with think about where they're going to place their marbles, because
that's true.
That is what is going to drive the downtime.
If they roll like an 11 or something, and so they're pulling 11 out and they're like, okay, I need this. And so they're really looking, they're analyzing. The other people are like, okay, anytime now.
But in general, it's a very fast-paced game. We typically play this game at 2 players because we really enjoy the pace and the way it plays at 2 players. But turns are pretty quick, and you roll, you draw the marbles, you put them in the bowl, you pick a bowl to take, you put them out, resolve any tips or spills that you have, and then it's the next person's turn. It typically goes pretty quick through the game.
Yeah, and if you don't want to have a long game like that, you just say you just put them in randomly. So you can always do that.
And as we always mention, if you are going to play this with your kids, telling them kind of think through what you want to do so that when as they're going through, they're watching the bowls and thinking, okay, this is what I need for that one. When I draw, if I get a red, I'm going to put it in that bowl and take that bowl. Right. Kind of encouraging your kids and your adults to think ahead and think about what they want to do so that when they're drawing, when they get around to their turn and they pull those marbles out, they're not for the first time looking and say, okay, what bowls are available? Which ones can I use? So that, as with most games, if you encourage your players to think ahead and start looking at what they're going to do, especially with kids, if you notice them just kind of looking off at the ceiling when it's getting to be their turn, saying, hey,
it never happens at our table.
So saying, hey, Peyton, it's almost your turn. Go ahead and start thinking about what you want to do. So encouraging that can definitely speed up the game.
Yeah. Now, we kind of briefly talked about winning and scoring at the end. There is a definite winner. It's whoever has the most money, basically, or points at the end of the game.
These cards are worth, finished orders are worth, this one's worth $5, $5, $6. But the tips are worth different amounts if you still have them. Again, if you play them or use them, then you don't get those points.
So then you also have these little tokens here. So it just depending on who finishes first, second, third type thing, depending on your player count. Yeah. Those also add into the points. But
But scoring is just whoever has the most money at the end of the game. Very clear cut. If there is a tie, then whoever has the most completed drinks wins. And then if there is still a tie, then whoever has the highest value bonus token. So whoever finished all of their orders first wins. So there is a clear winner at the end of the game. There's no share. If there's a tie, you just have to share it. So that is, I think, our parents' breakdown of On the Rocks. Again, your biggest issues that we see parents running into is going to be the theme. Hopefully this was helpful in figuring out if that's something that is palatable for you, that you're okay with or not okay with. Again, the point of this whole segment is not to answer that question. It's to arm you with information to answer the question for yourself and your family and your values. So,
and if there's another game that you'd like us to break down to see what our perspective as a parent breakdown would be sure you leave that in the comments below.
Now, we haven't talked about what we think about the game. We did a little bit at the beginning.
Okay, I love this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this game. It might also have a tiny bit the fact that I'm really good at this game, but I really I love the game. The designers, not only did they design this game awesomely, they're awesome people. I really enjoy On the Rocks.
It is a fantastic game. Yeah, it's one of our favorite 2-player games, just like date night games. It is. You can talk while you're playing. It is very easy. It's a casual game. It's thinky enough to be fun and interesting and strategic, but not so thinky that you just don't say a word to each other the entire game.
But hopefully if you are playing this as a 2-player, say date night, and you have a kid come down and they want to play too, hopefully this lets you know if you'd be comfortable with them playing with you or not.
Yep. And like Allison said earlier, if you have any other games that you would like us to cover in a Can Kids Play segment, be sure to leave us a comment below. While you're down there, go ahead and hit our subscribe button right there.
And the like button, and watch some of our other videos right over here.
And find the bell and click that, because apparently that's important on YouTube.
Ding, ding.
See you later.
Bye.